The idea behind the UBC is simply the fact that, like all of us, even like your instructors, at one point or another, they came across a mentor who taught them something that helped them raise their game. The idea is that in this sport, we're always learning. Hopefully we all train till we're 100 years old. And as such, we're always constantly striving to get better.
Just wanted to thank everybody again, like Greg said, just coming out, supporting the brand. We speak to a lot of you guys online, and we really appreciate all the support. And it's a community. It's really nice.
And that's how I squat in powerlifting and bodybuilding.
Butt's got to come back. Butt's got to come back straight up. Perfect. Butt's got to come back. Open up in here. Open up your crotch. And back up. One more time.
Figured we'd start with barbell rows with deadlifts. Those are the two movements that people not only avoid most often, but when they do them, screw them up, hurt their back. I can't deadlift, I can't do barbell rows, hurt my back. So I figured that would be a good place to start. My delts were weak point in the past, now they're almost a short point, so we're going to do pretty good tricks for delts. So we're going to start, I just want to know what your delt workout looks like.
That I was taught that was something that stood out. First thing that somebody did when they walk on stage, the first thing that would stand out was what? Your abs.
And 1, there you go, 2, 3, slow on the way back, so you get that nice negative again. 5, 6, 7, 8, good, 9, slow on the way back, don't let it snap.
I need one more for you to get it there. Push your butt back hard. Hard, hard, hard. Up. Good.
Go right over here. What I do side laterals, I do it like a lat spread. If you don't flex your lat, you go like this. If you flex your lat, you're going to get more side delts. That's what I do.
Just on the ground, I'll take it over.
Blow it up.
1, 2, 3, 4, yes! Mean, baby!
The way you can do it, when you do that, is do on arms. Like do both, I mean. Do it again.
Jump.
Tank. What? Anything. I don't care. Come on, I don't care. Just move it. Just move it. Just move it. Just move it. All right.
I tend to tighten my ass already. Because I like to come up first. See how he comes up because he's coming up, he's getting set up. See how his body position, his head is up, his chest is up.
We see there's a lot of guys where they stop short. They stop short, you can actually see the tricep not work as much as when you kick it out until I'm about there. What that's going to do over time, you're going to continue to be ripping apart muscle fibers. And that's going to, in time, give you more growth. Because instead of stopping at, say, 12 to 15 reps, you may have just did 10 more reps. Even if they're not full extension reps, anything that's moving, you're still ripping.
See, that's pretty good. Yeah. Do some reps. Do some reps.
So that way,
Yeah. So that's a pretty good form for a side idle. Because the most important thing, too much people, when they do it, they will rotate like that. Then when you rotate like that, you get too much front up. You want to fight that. So like you was doing, keep it like the wrist lower than the elbow and lower than the shoulder. Like that more. And when I do that, like he does, and pause at the bottom, that's good too. It moves momentum. People sometimes they do this, then they go back up. If you go down, stop, and then boom. Start with the side delt, that's good. Hold the dumbbell, that's it. Go down, when you go up, like that. But what really built my delts is not really the pressing. It's when I started with the down the racks and stuff when I was 20 years old. It's when I got like I was like, wow, it's cool. Do a lot of laterals first, and then you can do some presses. But everybody's different. Like me, the heavy pressing for me, because I only do heavy pressing on the chest. I like to go heavy on the chest. If I go heavy on the shoulders too, it's like it's too much for my shoulders, for me. Well, he does it, and he's big, so.
This big brute right here is a power lifter. T over here is a bodybuilder. And although we all train for different purposes, we pretty much approach, from a mechanic standpoint, approach the lift more or less the same way, because what it's going to take for him to complete the movement successfully without hurting his back is going to be the same thing that I have to do. So that's really
cool, but it's essentially it's the same thing.
Range of motion. Elbow flexion. You're doing some flips and hinge. Down towards the arm. So as it comes down, the weight should stay close to your body.
I've been doing it. If you notice how he's staying bent over, it's an uncomfortable position and it's hard. You know what I mean? But if you're not staying at that level, see how his back's flat, shoulders up, head up. If you're not staying at that level, you need to lessen the weight. Because there's people that throw on a ton of weight and here with it, you're trying to do a quarter upright row. But the body position is very, very important. You want to stay down there, and it's painful and it gets tough, especially when you got weight on there. That's where you need to be.
But if you keep your form right and you keep the pressure on your heels, you're not going to feel like, like it's pulling you forward. That's when you're hurting your lower back. If you keep all the pressure on your heels, keep your eyes up, sink your ass down.
And also, where do you come to? Where do you come? Your chest?
I thought about it. I think somewhere in my stomach.
Somewhere in your stomach?
I got accustomed to the wrestling shoes. Just something that I like. I train that all the time. Yeah. It's more like my belly button.
And if you're coming all the way up like that, how important is contraction for your back?
Yeah, if you're not contracting the muscles, no point doing it, right?
So if
you don't want to just be heaving weight.
So whoever's got the first question, feel free to raise your hand, be brave. Oh, come on. All right,
Question for Vinny. What's one of the most important things you learned in your career that you want to share with the younger guys?
Don't take things for granted. Through the years, one of the things that I had going on my side was my genetics, and I took it for granted in the early part of my career. And I'm fighting my way back right now to basically get out of the gutter of what I've put myself into. Didn't have to travel. I didn't have to try as hard when I was younger. I didn't have to diet as hard. I didn't have to train as hard and do as much cardio. And now, as I'm older, I'm going to be 46 years old this April. I still love the sport, but I'm doing things that I never did before.
Real heavy and less guys. I mean, don't work for everybody, but it's the way it works here for me. That's what I believe. Because like you stand up and walk all day, so you're doing high reps with 200 pounds. So why should you put 200 pounds on and do 30 reps on a calf machine when you've been doing that all day? Why not put 300 pounds on there and do 10 and see if it grows?
Well, that makes sense. You were 70, and we don't have that gift. So we have to start a little different, I feel, and that's a great idea. Sure, it would work. But when you have that problem that he has, and I have that problem that he has, and probably 90% of people here have it, you definitely got to do reps. And they got to be done fast. And they got to be done in and out. And they got to be held at the top. Now you do 20 and then you hold it for 20. And now you're talking about a whole new ballgame. You may not get calves like he has, Evan has. You won't. You won't. You can't. Or you'll get freaky calves that will stand out, that will look so weird that they'll have to look at it and say, well, that's an unusual looking calf.
If you learn nothing else right now, you learn that Mr. Long has one approach that's obviously worked really well for him, and Big Al has one approach that worked really well for him.
Right.
And you might have an approach that's going to be completely different, or a combination of both, or one or the other. So you basically have to try it all.
Right.
You know, extremely heavy, crazy reps.
Right.
You know, various angles, partials, all that stuff.
But you can also change the time of contraction, like you said, to hold 1 second. But what I like to do is, let's say you do 30 reps on the standing calves, and you use moderate weight. But each 10 reps, you hold 10 seconds at the top. So you do 1, 2, 3, up to 10, and then you hold the 10th rep 10 seconds. And then the 20th rep, you hold 10 seconds, and the 30th rep, you hold 10 seconds. And you do that 3 or 4 times. And I did that at my last contest, and I grew an inch in my calves. And as long as I keep the pump, I don't care if it's 2 hours. You know, but if I start losing the pump, it's maybe I did a mistake, I took too much rest, I talked too much, or I didn't focus on the contraction enough, so the time doesn't really matter to me. Like Arnold used to train like 3 hours, and I'm pretty sure he held the pump the whole time because he was balls to the wall. But you need to always stay, I mean the general idea is between 45 minutes and 2 hours, depending on the body parts. But everybody's different. Some people like to go in and out, high intensity, 45 minutes, and then boom. And some people, they like to do more volume. Like I know Jacob here does longer workouts, and Dorian needs to do shorter workouts. Right. So you should stick to what works, and the goal to me is always keep the pump the whole time. At least for me, when I'm getting ready for a competition, I'm eating a lot. I usually end up eating into a show. I'm eating, you know, a week out from the show, I'm eating the most I've been eating the whole diet. For me, it's a lot of food. And I feel like all that food becomes a little bit taxing on your system. So I think after a show, I think if you're starving after a show and you're hungry all the time, then I think eat. But if you're tired of looking at food, then I think if you say, geez, you know, six whole food meals right now, I just don't feel like my body wants it or needs it. And I think if you keep forcing it on yourself, I don't think that's good. I think just basically taking some time to listen to your body. I mean, you just subjected it to 4 months of you know, pre-contest training. So if you're tired, take a rest. If you're sick of eating, skip a, take a rest. You don't have to have that meal. If you're starving, eat. I think you should pretty much listen to your body. Your body will tell you if it needs rest, if it needs food, if it needs a break from the food.
I personally am 6 weeks out from the show, and I'm doing 45 minutes on the stairs 5 days a week. But like I said, everyone's going to be different. Vinny just started doing cardio.
Well, not started. I mean, no, I mean, like, I had the opportunity to have great genetics that allowed me to not have to do so much cardio. So if I did cardio, it was like 3 times a week, 30 minutes. I can get ready for a show with that. But that's not the case anymore. I'm a little older, my body, it's slowing down a little bit. So I do more cardio now. I'm doing an hour of cardio a day now.
It really should be as necessary. I mean, you don't want to do more cardio than you need to. I mean, you look at, obviously you're going to eat enough to sustain your size and uphold your muscle and fuel your training. So then, once you've established the baseline, and then if you say you're getting ready for a competition, you look at the goal, which is to get in the best shape possible, and you're only going to add as much cardio as necessary to elicit a change. It's not like you say, oh, I'm going to add in an hour. You just start with maybe say a half an hour, a few times a week, and if that's enough to make a change, okay, great. Once it stops making a change, you add more.
You have no mistakes. Then if you get beat by somebody else, you're like, okay, well, I gave my all. You have no regrets. But if you came, like happened to me once, if you came second place, my training partner beat me when I was 20 years old. And on the last week, I took it more easy. I wanted to eat more because I wanted to be bigger. And then I came second because he was smaller, but he was drier. And then I was like, I lost. I was so angry at myself because it was my own fault that I did a mistake. But if you give your all and you become second, like Arnold Classic that I did, I'm amateur, I came second to the overall. I came second, but I was happy because I gave my all and my goal was to be top 5. So I wasn't sad because I came second. But it depends. If you give your all, you have no regrets, what can you do? You're the judges decide. So if you're angry at the judges, I mean, they're the judges.
It is. I mean, look for example back to when Dorian was competing. I mean, amongst that group of guys, I don't think he had the best. I mean, he had great genetics, but of that group, I don't think he was the most gifted.
Structurally, you didn't have he was the prettiest with flex and everyone else. Right?
Yeah, I don't think he was the most gifted. I think he was able to dominate in that era because I think he worked out. I think he outworked them. Right. And I still, you know, at this level, even as good as some of the guys are genetically or what's available to everybody, you see when someone's on stage, you cannot deny. Like, hard work is evident. You know what I mean? It hits you right in the face. You say, there's no way that guy looked like that without busting his ass. It's there.
There's nothing new out there in the world of programs, as they call it. That's
They just renamed them.
regurgitated. The program that you're talking about, I can realistically tell you, I did that in 1961. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was doing that. And all these other acronyms that they're using are just that. They're programs that were brought up from the 40s. I had a guy come in the gym and said, Greg, you got to do this arm routine. It was the 8 reps, 3 sets of 8, half curl, these things. Right? This is the thing, some nitwit from some Bulgarian. He brought the book in. I just happened to have a book home from 1957, and this guy, Vince Duranda, did that program. And this guy went on and on and on, and I was like, yeah, okay. And I knew I had this book home, and I came in the next day and I said, hey, look at the program, I just found this. I didn't show him the date. And I opened it up and put it in front of me. Wow, that's the program. And I said, yeah, look at the cover, 1947. And he thought I made that. He thought I went to one of them Connie things and had it made. No, that's what happens in 1947, 48. And I caught it in 1961 and 62. So it's older than that. You know what I mean? Even to me, it's old. But to you, you think it's brand new. It's nothing's new. It's just renamed. But do it. But do it because it works. We did it. We still do it. We do it all.